Unlike many of the previous Borderlands titles, new Tales from the Borderlands was developed by Gearbox. This contrasts with the previous titles like Tales from the Borderlands, which was developed under license by Telltale Games. It is more of a spiritual successor than an actual one. This game will not follow the story from the Tales of the Borderlands, but instead will allow players to embark on an entirely new narrative. James Lopez, the director of production on the project, told IGN in an interview that it is an entirely new storyline compared to the original Tales of the Borderlands games. We do have some callbacks inside of it though. Hardcore fans will notice that some of the characters from the previous games being mentioned or making an appearance inside of it, but yes, it is more of a spiritual successor than an actual one. Some fans of the franchise have expressed concerns that this could be considered to be yet another narrative in a vacuum. While it is connected to the other narratives, it doesn't display signs of typing up the many loose ends from the other stories in the franchise. Like the previous Tales of the Borderlands games, this game is episodic and will feature 5 full episodes. However, this time they'll all become available all at once, and players can choose the order in which they play them through. It doesn't make a lot of sense to seem to play them in any order except the intended one, as it is a decision-making and choose-your-own-adventure type of narrative. But for the ultra-adventurous, this is an option. The game takes place primarily on Promethea, which much of the plot taking place in and around the Meridian City. The city is still rebuilding after the events of Borderlands 3, which took place about a year prior to this game. During new Tales from the Borderlands, Promethea is invaded by a weapons manufacturer. However, unlike previous depictions of Tediore, which portrayed it as a goofy, inadequate corporation, the trailer for this game gives them a much more professional and serious appearance. Needless to say, fans did not expect the threat of any future game to be these guys, as they're commonly joked about as the characters like Reese in previous games. In new Tales from the Borderlands, there are 3 protagonist characters that players will be swapping between throughout the game: Octavio, Fran, and Anu. Octavio is a young, hungry tech enthusiast whose primary motivation is to become rich and famous. He has an Echo Dex, which he likes to use to stalk people on social media and hack into devices. Fran, who players will recognise from the original Tales from the Borderlands, is a frozen yogurt shop owner who wants to seek revenge on Susan Caldwell, the CEO of Tediore. She rides in a hover chair, which allows her to free stuff and punch people. On the other hand, Anu, Octavio's adopted sister, is more book smart than street smart and uses her glasses to scan things and find information from the world around her. Her primary motivation seems to be to better the world, or, as it's put in the trailer, less bloodshed. Sounds great, right? Well, for many franchise players, this sounds a little boring, and hopefully their original motivations are changed by the harsh and bleak world in which they live. It could be exciting to see the protagonist's hopes and dreams be broken down gradually by the cruel world and shift their motivations to something darker and, well, more interesting. After all, less bloodshed sounds more like an answer to a beauty pageant question about motivations than something from a Borderlands game, or in fact, any video game. So, will this all be worth it? Well, many of the franchise fans were not that excited about the boring protagonist's motivations and the somewhat strange depiction of Tediore. That perhaps just means that the trailers and interviews haven't done the game justice. After all, as a spin-off of the Borderlands series, it's not a full-price game. It will cost just $40 for the standard edition and $50 for the deluxe, which includes the original Tales from the Borderlands game, 10,000 in-game currency, a collectible figurine for the Vaultlander minigame, and cosmetics for the 3 main characters. Die-hard fans of the series will probably find it's worth the cost. Still, a mainline game would probably be more preferable for somebody new to the franchise due to the expanded side story content, progression systems, and overall longer-lasting gameplay experience. The new Tales from the Borderlands will be launching in just a few short weeks, but if that is too long for you to wait, then why not watch one of our other videos here at 128KB, and we will of course see you next time.